This night carries a remarkable significance, and I want to delve into its beauty, its power, and its depth because understanding it can help us truly appreciate the immense blessings and opportunities that Allah has placed within these sacred nights. To begin, let us consider a narration from Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, who describes an incident during the lifetime of the Prophet Muhammad. He recounts that he was in the masjid of the Prophet during these last 10 nights, and due to the exhaustion of his worship, he found himself overcome by sleep, unintentionally dozing off. Now, let's pause for a moment. How many of us can relate to this? In these intense last 10 nights, we push ourselves to pray, to recite the Quran, to make dua, and inevitably we reach a point of fatigue. But rather than feeling guilty, let's take comfort in knowing that this struggle itself is part of our devotion to Allah. Ibn Mas'ud continues, explaining that as he slept, someone came to him in a dream and informed him, "Tonight is the night." Upon waking up, he was so moved by what he had seen that he immediately rushed to find the Prophet. He reached the edge of the tent where the Prophet had secluded himself for itik, and he found him in deep prayer, engaged in intimate worship of Allah. Realizing the magnitude of the moment, Ibn Mas'ud hurried to join in salah, exerting himself in worship with even greater intensity. And he later confirmed that this occurred on the 23rd night of Ramadan. Now, let's hold on to that narration for a moment and consider another. We find an indication from another companion, Abdullah ibn Abbas, that in a particular year the Prophet was walking with him and pointed to the moon, saying that its appearance resembled a plate. He then mentioned that this was a sign of Laylatul Qadr and that it occurred on the 23rd night. Yet another narration adds to this significance. Before the last 10 nights began, the Prophet stood up and delivered an admonition to his companions, emphasizing their need to dedicate themselves wholeheartedly to worship in these blessed nights. Rain would descend upon them in those nights. When the 23rd night arrived, the sky was completely clear. There was not a single cloud in sight. But then suddenly a cloud formed above the masjid and rain began to fall upon them. The Sahabah remembered the words of the Prophet vividly, and just as he had described, his noble face was covered in mud as he made sujud. Now, when we analyze the narrations regarding Laylatul Qadr, we find that after the 27th night, no other night receives as much emphasis as the 23rd. Some companions narrated that they experienced profound spiritual moments on the 23rd, while others pointed to the 27th. This variation is one of the strongest pieces of evidence that Laylatul Qadr is not fixed on a single night each year but rather shifts. This is why scholars have emphasized the importance of exerting oneself in worship throughout all of the last 10 nights. If we were to take only the narrations about the 27th night, we would assume it must be on that night. But then, if we were to take the narrations about the 23rd night, where there are definitive accounts of the Prophet experiencing profound moments of worship and divine signs on that night, we would say it must be the 23rd night. This seeming contradiction is actually one of the greatest proofs that Laylatul Qadr does not occur on the same night every year. It shifts, and this keeps us in a constant state of striving and seeking Allah's mercy. And so here we are, standing in the 23rd night, pleading to Allah, hoping to be among those who witness the power of Laylatul Qadr. We cry out, "O Allah, allow us to witness it, accept our worship, and forgive our sins." For those watching or listening to this after the 23rd night has passed, do not be disheartened. There are still nights ahead, and every single one of them is an opportunity for redemption. And for those who are still in this moment, push yourself tonight, because we have seen how many times the Prophet emphasized this particular night. Now, I want to return to the story of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud for a moment. He had a dream in which he was informed about the significance of the 23rd night. This brings up an interesting question. Can a person have a dream or a strong premonition that Laylatul Qadr is occurring on a specific night? The answer is yes, it is possible. We are not prophets, nor are we on the level of the Sahabah, but Allah may still grant us feelings, inclinations, or even visions that guide us toward moments of immense spiritual significance. A person may feel an unusual sense of peace, or they may witness a sign that reassures them. However, even if one were to have such an experience, this does not mean that the search for Laylatul Qadr is over. In fact, if there is one lesson we can take from the Sunnah of the Prophet, it is that he never wrapped it up after feeling confident that he had found Laylatul Qadr. Even after experiencing profound signs on the 23rd or any other night, he continued to exert himself until the very last moment of Ramadan. Why is this important? Because Allah, in His infinite wisdom and mercy, has hidden Laylatul Qadr from us so that we may strive throughout the last 10 nights. Imagine if we were told exactly which night it was. Many of us might only worship on that one night, neglecting the immense mercy, blessings, and forgiveness that are available on the other 9. Instead, Allah has granted us an opportunity to seek Him, and so we say, "Oh Allah, we thank you for these nights. We thank you for allowing us to witness Ramadan. We ask you, O most merciful, to grant us Laylatul Qadr, to accept our prayers, and to forgive our shortcomings. And as we raise our hands in dua, let us not forget our brothers and sisters in Gaza and across the world who are suffering. Just as we seek miracles in our personal lives, we ask Allah to grant them a miracle, to grant them victory, and to remove their oppression. We ask Allah to uplift the oppressed wherever they are and to grant them relief in this blessed month. May Allah make us among those who are forgiven. May He allow us to witness Laylatul Qadr, and may He guide us on a path that pleases Him throughout the year. Ameen. And dear brothers and sisters, as we continue reflecting on these sacred nights, let's not forget the ultimate purpose of our striving, seeking nearness to Allah, purifying our hearts, and ensuring that when Ramadan departs, we are left as better Muslims, more conscious of our Creator, more sincere in our devotion, and more committed to living lives that align with the pleasure of Allah. One of the profound lessons we learn from the emphasis on the last 10 nights is that the process of seeking Allah's mercy is not passive, it requires effort. The Prophet Muhammad intensified his worship in these nights, teaching us through his actions that we must seize these fleeting moments. Laylatul Qadr is not just a night we wait for. It is a night we actively seek. The power of Laylatul Qadr, why it's worth the struggle. Consider this: Allah, in His divine generosity, has hidden the exact night of Laylatul Qadr from us, but He has given us signs and guidance on how to search for it. Why is that? Why not simply reveal to us the exact night so we can worship intensely for that one night and then move on? The answer lies in the wisdom of Allah. If we knew exactly which night it was, many of us would only exert ourselves on that one night and neglect the others. But by keeping it concealed, Allah ensures that we remain in a state of continuous devotion, striving in worship and increasing in our remembrance of Him. The beauty of Laylatul Qadr is that it is khairan min alfi shahr, better than 1,000 months, Surah Al-Qadr 97-3. That means that a single night's sincere worship could be recorded for us as if we had worshipped for over 83 years. Imagine, if Allah accepts our prayers on this night, it could be as if we spent an entire lifetime in devotion. But beyond the sheer reward, Laylatul Qadr is a night when the decrees for the coming year are written. It is a night when destinies are decided, when our provisions, our health, our opportunities, and even our final moments in this world may be determined. And so we plead with Allah, "O Allah, write for us goodness. Allah, decree for us a life filled with righteousness. O Allah, grant us your mercy and secure our place among the people of Jannah." How the Prophet worshipped in the last 10 nights. If we wish to maximize these nights, we must look to the Prophet as our guide. How did he worship in these last 10 nights? He increased in Salah, night prayer, Qiyam. Aisha reported that when the last 10 nights began, the Prophet would tighten his waist belt, meaning he dedicated himself completely to worship and left all worldly distractions. He would pray lengthy rakats, standing before Allah in humility, making sujud for extended periods, pouring his heart out in dua. He engaged in continuous dhikr and dua. He would seek forgiveness, glorify Allah, and call upon Him persistently. One of the most powerful duas he taught us for these nights is, he performed idikf, seclusion in the masjid. The Prophet would spend these nights in the masjid, isolating himself from distractions, focusing entirely on his connection with Allah. If we are unable to perform full idik, if we can still dedicate time in solitude, turning off our phones, disconnecting from the world, and engaging in worship. He woke up his family. The Prophet did not just strive alone. He encouraged his family to stand in prayer and seek Allah's mercy. This teaches us that our worship should not be an individual effort, it should involve those we love. Wake your spouse, encourage your children, remind your parents, and create an atmosphere of worship in your home. Signs of Laylatul Qadr. While we do not know the exact night, the Prophet and the Sahabah described some signs that could indicate Laylatul Qadr. The morning after Laylatul Qadr, the sun rises softly without harsh rays. The night itself is peaceful, serene, and comfortable. There may be a unique sense of tranquility in your heart, a feeling of closeness to Allah. Even if we feel that we have witnessed Laylatul Qadr, we do not stop striving. The Prophet continued seeking Allah's mercy until the very last night of Ramadan, teaching us that worship is not just about one night, it is about consistency and sincerity. The blessings of the last nights beyond Laylatul Qadr. Even if a person does not witness Laylatul Qadr, every one of these nights is filled with divine mercy, forgiveness, and immense rewards. These are nights when our du'as are accepted, when sins are erased, and when we have the opportunity to set the tone for the rest of our lives. One of the most heart-touching aspects of Ramadan is that Allah frees people from hellfire every single night. The Prophet told us that during each night of Ramadan, Allah grants emancipation to people who were previously destined for punishment. So what if tonight is the night that Allah writes our names among those who are freed? What if tonight is the night that Allah erases all of our sins and grants us a fresh start? What if tonight is the night when our heartfelt dua changes the course of our lives? A plea for our brothers and sisters in need. As we seek Allah's mercy, let us also remember those who are struggling, our brothers and sisters in Gaza, in Palestine, in Yemen, in Syria, in Sudan, in every part of the world where oppression and suffering persist. Just as we beg for miracles in our own lives, let us ask Allah to grant them a miracle. Let us raise our hands in these blessed nights and make sincere dua for their relief, their victory, and their protection. Oh Allah, be with them. Oh Allah, grant them victory. Oh Allah, ease their suffering and grant them justice. Oh Allah, just as you have power over the night and the day, show us your power in aiding the oppressed. Final reminder, the real success of Ramadan. As these blessed nights pass, let us not only focus on seeking Laylatul Qadr, but also on ensuring that the spirit of Ramadan remains in our hearts beyond this month. If we have grown closer to the Quran, let us not abandon it. If we have increased in dua and dhikr, let us keep our tongues moist with remembrance. The true success of Ramadan is not just what we do in these 10 nights, it is who we become after Ramadan leaves us. O Allah, accept our prayers, our fasting, and our striving. O Allah, make us among those who witness Laylatul Qadr and earn your mercy. O Allah, write for us paradise and protect us from the fire. Ameen.